documentation in so many ways. We use it to communicate with parents, introduce new parents to the program, have the children revisit things that they have done or accomplished. We use it to document progress, to assess. We use it to inform other teachers. So I think it's very rich in what we do. This was just a little boy who was really working on seriation of size, and he was really working and struggling with how to get them in order, and I just happened to snap a couple pictures, and then what happened was I put it in a form and I put the curriculum standards to go with it. So this was just probably a 5-10 minute activity that the little boy was quietly working on, and it turned into a documentation piece. It showed different orientations of the seriation, and it showed how he changed it from a tower to a stair, kind of, so from vertical to horizontal. And then it talks about ordinary moments in time, reveal concepts children use to organize their approaches to a problem. And so then I did present that to the mom as a piece of documentation. But it was not planned. It was totally having a camera at the right time and just taking a few simple pictures. Here's another type of documentation. We often have an activity that we do with a child. And so we went from a small moment in time to an actual planned activity that we want to document. So this was making vegetable soup. It had a teacher reflection. It had an outcome. It had a shared experience. It had a literacy piece because there was a book that went with it. So it's documenting one specific planned activity. It's great parent education, and it's great education when new parents come in to say, these are the kinds of things we do. One of the things that is really deeply rooted in this classroom is integration of the areas, curriculum areas. So this actually shows a story integrated into all areas of the classroom. This one was particularly Sheep in the Jeep, so we documented all of the versions and all of the things we did to support a literacy journey. So this is, we actually piled them in a Jeep. We didn't go anywhere, but they had a real Jeep experience. They had art. So it's showing how you can take one storybook with one focus, which was rhyming, and then extend it through all kinds of activities. This use of documentation was two little boys that were really, really fascinated with a block theme of capturing the dragon. It's the mascot for the classroom, and so they kept capturing the dragon and kept offering them details, offering them different things and to add to their theme, and it went on all year. So what I did was I documented it day after day that they went back to this work, and then at the end I called the parents in, and when they think there's not, my child's playing with blocks every day, we had a team conference where we actually videoed the parents getting an in-depth conversation about this block building and how important it was and how it crossed over so many areas of curriculum. And the parents were thrilled to know all these things their child was learning through the block play. This one involved parent participation. We had parents, we had 7 or 8 different ethnicities, and in March, when I felt they were comfortable, we actually asked them to come in and present something from their culture. And so this is a version of every different parent coming in with their child and presenting an art or a food or a dress. And then what we did was we documented each page and each country for the parent participation. And then the kids could go back and look at it. This is a documentation that actually was used for teacher education, and it was following the children's fascination with a ramp and physics and gravity. And so what this ended up being was not only a display board telling of all of the process of building the ramp, which the children built day after day after day, it also became a progression because we kept adding materials for them to work with. It was called invitations and provocations. So what else could you do to make it go through the ramp? And we offered balls and cars and trucks and grapes and anything that they thought would roll down their different inclines. So that became for teacher education, parent education. This actually went to a display with teachers to show them a long-term study of something. We use documentation like this in so many ways. This is an introduction of a concept we were trying to get through the classroom through books and stories and songs and games. What is your friend for, and why are friends important, and what is the value of friends, and what is a friend? We did activities of taking photos, taking documentation of their quotes about friends, and then taking a picture of things they like to do with their friends. You need to post the photo as well as their drawing, because you're respecting that their drawing and their interpretation of their friend is as important, if not more important, than the photo. And then the quote, it just makes it more authentic. The parents come in and they see, oh, I see your friend, or the parent that has a child that maybe their focus for their IP is a social skill. Well, then they're saying, oh, I see they are playing with kids, they are drawing it, and then they can say to that child, oh, I see you were playing with so-and-so. And then there can be a discussion from the parents around the friends. And this board stays up for a while to refer back to it. It's a great discussion tool for kids. They can come back and say, oh, remember when we did this, or you're my friend, or today I want to do this with you. So this is two boys that both had some social issues. I think it was a huge aha experience for both of them, that they said, oh, you are my friend, and we can run on the playground, and we can crawl through the tunnel. And the little boy's mom came in and she saw this, and she actually teared up. And she said, I can't believe it, I'm just so worried all the time that he's by himself, and those are the things that are really important to me. Oftentimes we allow the children to decide what pictures are important, instead of always thinking that teachers' values are important. So I presented the children with a stack of pictures that showed our use of dramatic play in the classroom and how we changed it throughout the year. There's many objectives that can be met by having the children look at the pictures. It's great for language and vocabulary, and it's great for sequencing. But what I was really asking them to do is tell me what's important, and we're going to make a book about the dramatic play that will essentially go on to the library corner, and then that way they can revisit it. And I asked each child, while they were looking at the picture, who's in the picture, what were we doing, what was important, and do you think it should be included in our book? And it was very interesting because they could tell you right away there were a couple they didn't want in the book, and then they would say, well, we want this because this is important because he was doing an x-ray. And they were saying things like, we were holding hands there, that's important, we should show that we're friends. It also shows me a recap of what did they learn. So I can assess language, the friendship that they were talking about. Can they sequence events? Can they talk about something that happened in the past? And so I was getting that out of it too. Then I would go back and document that. And I got them to eliminate some of the pictures that they didn't want, and then decide what was going in the book. And then the next step of that was, well, now we have these pictures that you didn't choose for the book, what would you like to do with that? And that's when they spontaneously said we should send them home so we can talk about them at home, which is a whole other great thing. What will eventually come out of this process with the children is to have a chronological order of dramatic play themes that we presented throughout the year.